started this today. I'm going to call this to order. I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm going to call on Pastor Chris Perkins to come up and pray for us. And Pastor, your church is the Church of the Rock.
The Rock Worship Center, yes.
Rock Worship Center. Okay, come on up and pray for us. We're going to all stand and we're going to pray the flag when you get to the flag.
Let us bow. Eternal God, our Father, I thank you, Lord, for this opportunity you've given us to humbly come in your presence. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to gather tonight, for we realize, Lord, that we are benefactors of your mercy. God, we're not here because we've been so holy or so righteous, so careful or so kind. But your word declares that because of your mercies, we are not consumed. And Lord, we are truly thankful. God, as we stand tonight in your presence, we acknowledge that you are great and greatly to be praised. We thank you, Lord, that you have blessed us, and we ask tonight, God, your blessing upon this assembly. God, we pray tonight for our leaders, our mayor, and our board of aldermen, God, that you would grant them wisdom as they prepare to be about the business of the city. We pray, God, that you would impress upon the heart the far-reaching implications of decisions that they make in this place. We pray, God, for those of us who are gathered here tonight, that you would grant us temperance, that we might conduct ourselves in a manner that is consistent with what you desire. Wait, Lord, this pleases to you. And then, God, we pray, Lord, for the city as a whole. We ask, oh God, that this city will become a beacon of light, an example of what it means, that people might gather and live in a peaceful manner. Indeed, God, that our communion might overcome racial and denominational and economic violence. Indeed, in all of our differences, God, we will find a commonality that will allow us to work toward a great city. Lord, we pray, oh God, that as we leave tonight, that all of us, both as individuals and as a city, be much better than when we came. We thank you, Lord. We praise you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. God bless you. Anything we'll call up? Greg, get things ready there.
Okay, Alderman Moser.
Here.
Alderman Posey.
Here.
Alderman Marble.
Present.
Alderman Mack.
Present.
Alderman Smith.
Here.
Alderman Ford.
Here.
Alderman Cook.
Here.
Attorney Neals.
Here.
And the Honorable Mayor White presiding.
Thank you, ma'am. We're going to go to the, Terry, if you want to come on. Well,
Wait,
we
one
got some
second.
add-ons.
Yes, sir. We have some amendments, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll take them one at a time.
As the sheet before you says, we're asking for an amendment to the agenda to include the presentation of the served members by Chief Marshall Robinson and adding Alderman Mack to item K for $175 to attend the Mississippi Black Caucus Convention, and to withdraw item 9, please. Number 9 is the contract labor discussion.
It was on the control of the drainage guy.
Motion to withdraw.
He's going to ask, what's this deal? It's his decision. Okay, so let's start.
I need a.
Yeah, we need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Mr. Cook,
Mr. Moser.
Mr. Moser second.
No,
Everybody.
no, Mr. Moser and Mr. Cook.
Okay. 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 So we got those. Let's go ahead and,
I need a second.
yeah, I'm gonna roll call. Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford? Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Thank you. Those are added. Let's just go ahead and take number 5, Terry. Just go ahead and cut, it's not going to be much to that. It's a recommendation from the P&Z board. Go ahead.
This is a recommendation from the P&Z board, and I gave each of you a copy of the letter that presented to them.
You might.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here you go. You can use her.
Anyway, after the April 9th meeting for the motion to, the recommendation to have the property at 6111 Caver Drive declared dilapidated structure, I continued to do some investigations, and through the course of the investigations, found out that Farm Bureau here in Byron has the insurance on that property, and they are pursuing civil litigation against Smith Walker and to have that property rebuilt. And in the interest of keeping the city out of any civil litigation, the recommendation that we table that recommendation to have the property considered dilapidated, pending on what Farm Bureau does.
Do they give you a time?
Thus, they haven't gave it any yet.
Is the property properly secured now?
Yes, they found a lock at the front door. You can't get it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, so good.
I'm a little confused. It says that withdrawing the request to declare it dilapidated and move so that we can move forward with demolition of the structure, or
That was
property
the
owner?
original. That was the original
Oh, okay.
recommendation.
Okay.
We're pulling back on that, we're gonna give Farm Bureau time to deal with this.
Correct.
And there is a civil action going on with that.
Between
Yes, sir.
Farm Bureau and Mr. Walker.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Yes, sir, Ms. Moses, go ahead.
Was the property condemned originally? Was it condemned by the city of Byron?
No.
This motion would have condemned it. This would have been what we did to condemn it.
Good question. Okay. Roll call. Mr. Moser?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Wait a
Yes.
minute.
Okay.
Have a first and a second.
That's a good question.
Motion.
Okay.
His side.
I must agree and tell y'all that I am a little ill today, but I'm not on drugs.
Okay, so
I'm
who
trying to
seconded
get
Ms.
loose.
Second the motion.
Okay, Mr. Cook said first, Ms. Hosey second. I did hear that.
Okay.
Okay, now we're gonna call roll.
Thank you.
Back up. Here, she's lucky rushing here. Mr. Moser?
Yes.
Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
And Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the consent agenda. I'm just gonna, we're not gonna read them tonight, we're just gonna vote on them. Everybody's had an opportunity to look at them. I think somebody, you don't pull one out, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Okay,
I was going to give an opportunity.
go ahead, you got that opportunity.
I would like to pull out I, please, the request of the fire chief.
Okay,
We're just gonna pull it out and, we've got.
for
an
discussion, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, at a later date, yes,
At a later date?
at a later time.
Okay.
Okay,
That's good.
Tonight or another?
it's gonna be tonight,
Okay, okay.
okay? So we're gonna look at, yes,
I
ma'am.
would like to pull out item K for discussion and voting.
Okay, I and K, okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, we're gonna pull I and K out, and we're gonna vote on the others, it's the consent agenda. And if anybody, does anybody have any more questions? We're gonna go ahead and call roll.
Motion.
Yes, yes.
I have a question about A.
About A?
The information that was presented to us with the affidavits, is this concerning item A? Minutes.
Concerning the minutes?
No.
Are you talking about the affidavits that were handed to you this evening?
That is
Actually,
for-
I'm glad she brought that up. That is another item that
We need to put on the agenda.
that I don't think was part of the amendment vote, so,
Sure was.
yeah, and that's, she's right, we need
Good
to.
point. That's gonna be something else. I need a motion second about the affidavit.
And I can, what I'm asking for is to add to the, at this point, what I'm asking for is to add to the agenda a discussion item regarding Murphy Oil and the use permit and site plan that was discussed.
Okay.
Motion.
I got a motion by, second by Ms. Hutchins, Mr. Moser and Ms. Hutchins. That's what we're voting on right now.
But just to be clear, make sure that I'm clear on what you're saying, it's not connected.
I can't hear you.
I'm
It's
sorry.
nothing that would change the minutes, you're correct. It is nothing that would change the
Connected
minutes.
with minutes, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not, yeah,
Thank you.
it's just to add it as a, amend the agenda right now, and add it as a line item.
Okay. Mr. Moser.
What are we voting on?
To add the Murphy oil discussion to the agenda.
Yes.
Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marvel?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yeah.
And Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Okay. So now, I need a motion, because that got that covered. We're gonna do a motion and second on the,
Motion.
on the consent agenda. Okay, I got a motion by Mr. Cook,
Second.
second by Ms. Wynder.
This is me.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Mr. Moser, how you voting?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marvel?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yeah.
And Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Chief, come on up. Talk to us about that. Pass something out. Just the one that's got the weed and soap and something.
I think this will work. Before the board has the item I, which is a invoice number 17. That invoice is probably going to have to have that one after all.
Yes.
It's going to go out. Item 17 is a final payment request for the Central Fire Station in the amount of $32,000 to Paul Jackson and Son. What you have before you that I passed out is a letter from the the architect of record. You also, in your package, should have a letter from myself addressing the matter. The issue at hand is a $32,000 request from the contractor to close this contract out. As I indicated to the board at the time that pay request was made, we had a little bit, we'd had several, I guess we'd call it work details to address a water seepage issue into the subfloor of the server room and what is referred to as the dispatch room on the plans. At the time the pay request was submitted, the most recent work had been performed. At that time, we had not had any problems, but subsequent to receiving this pay request, we did encounter, after the most recent rain, which was about 3 weeks ago, water seepage into that area again. The contractor was contacted. We'd already submitted requests for this payment. My recommendation was either one, approve the payment and hold the payment under direction of the city attorney with some type of written stipulation from the contractor that they would remedy this problem, or two was to deny the payment completely. Our architect of record recommends that for the work that has been completed, that we hold $10,000. He believes that's sufficient to address any issues with the subfloor, and that the remaining $22,000 outstanding be paid. What we would be looking for at this time is a motion to modify payment request 17 to an amount of $22,000 in line with what the architect is recommending. And at this time, I'm prepared to answer any questions the board may have on this matter.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
I'm sure that the money we're holding is going to fix the floor. We're talking
According-
about two areas.
Well, they share a common
Junction.
well, they should, correct. They have the same subfloor and they have the same raised wall, or I guess you call it a knee wall, that's about 6 to 8 inches. An architect feels sure that the $10,000 is sufficient to address any issues in that area.
I don't know about that. I've seen,
Okay, well, anybody else? Go ahead, Rick.
Oh, I think since they tried to fix it, they've been unable to fix it, I think you need to hold all of it until it's fixed.
And again,
Because I'll be honest with you, they don't know where the end is, and I don't think we do either.
well, I'm going to say this, I definitely don't know where it is, or, you know, we'd be telling them they need to do it. And so, and I'm agreeable with, if the board chooses to deny making this payment, that's fine. I do believe that if we choose to deny the payment, that we do need to send some type of letter of record through our attorney stating that this was withheld in lieu of the issue that is outstanding. Would that be not true?
Until the issue's resolved.
I agree. Okay, so that's what we're gonna ask you, Jerry, or John, to take care of. Do we need to vote it all, or
We
just
need
let
a
it go?
motion, yes, sir, I need a motion to
Okay.
deny payment based on that. Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Ms. Wanda, second. Ms. Alderman.
Motion.
Okay, we're not gonna pay him.
Not gonna pay anything.
No, sir. No, sir.
no, sir.
Okay, anybody else? Mr. Mosley, how you vote?
I vote yes. Oh, no, or
That's right.
whatever.
That's right. See, I ain't going nowhere. Ms. Ozy?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Okay.
I thank the board for that action, and I appreciate Alderman Mack withdrawing this in my request.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to K.
Yes, sir. The reason I was asking that be pulled is, I did have Ms. Linda do some budget investigating for me, and we are 1,000, I'm not correct, if I'm correct, Ms. Angela, please help me with this.
Well,
We are over budget.
Right now.
Conference expenses.
Yes, yes, ma'am, if you'll look on page 1, that's why I printed out the Alderman's budget, because this is up to today. This is,
Okay.
so you haven't received the May financial.
Okay.
I'm finalizing the April one right now, but it would not have been shown in April either because payment has been made in the mail.
Okay. Payment had been made in the mail?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that puts us $1,000 in the hole?
On the training budget, you are at a negative $1,000 because we
Okay.
had the attendance of the winter MML that was not budgeted this year, or not for.
No worries, I'll pay my own way. Thank you. I do have a word,
Okay,
because
let's do this in a time, I understand what y'all saying, I understand that, Ms. Hosey. So, but what we're trying to, what we do with the budget deal that's coming up, we'll be able to have opportunity to look at it, and we might be able to do something different next year, whatever y'all decide.
We could probably, I'm thinking that we can add the Black Caucus meeting to the budget and the upcoming budget year, but it was not added in there for this year, and we are $1,000 overspent.
We participate in Black Caucus event every
Yes,
year.
and that's
So
not a problem.
It's my understanding that it's kind of, part of the budget. It kind of goes without saying. Nevertheless,
Well, it wasn't, it was left out, well, it was removed, just like there was other items that were removed during budgeting.
okay.
I just based the travel money on what I was told during the budget meetings, and that's fine. But,
let me say something. It seems like we're having a lot of issues.
I can't hear you.
It seems like we're having a lot of issues. And we're paying for things that I think can be left out, but we don't have to actually do some of the things, like the things I bring up during most of the board meetings. And some of the costs are just outrageous. But as far as us trying to get more knowledge to help lead our city, now we have a problem with that?
That's not a problem with that, Ms. Alderman Mack. The problem is the fact that we are way over budget, we don't have the money to replace it, and so therefore, I paid for my registration the other week for a CMO class, as well as 2 other aldermen. And I did make that offer at the time that I signed up for it. And Ms. White and Ms. Richburg agreed that that's what we should do. So I just felt like, and I'm sorry that this is such a large registration fee, I really am. I hate that.
It's not a large registration fee, it's $175, but I will pay my own way.
Versus what you paid, $25.
This is correct, but it doesn't matter whether it's 25 or 175 or 5. If you're over budget, you're over budget.
But yet, we just purchased a sewer permit, and we're over budget.
And we took money out of our rainy day fund to purchase the sewer, so how much more are we gonna take out of rainy day
Well,
fund?
you can't, that's not.
We can't continue to do
Okay.
that.
Hold up, that's it. That's-
So my suggestion is that, my recommendation is that if you want to go to the Black Caucus this year, that you go ahead and pay your registration, and we will include it in the budget for the upcoming budget year. That's all we're at, that's all I'm asking.
Well, I have a comment. Where it states that you get to actually make these decisions, let the board vote on it.
Well, we're gonna do that.
That's
I
what
did
she's
not make the
asking
decision.
for.
I asked the board.
She's about to make a
You're
motion.
gonna make a motion.
Well.
I haven't been given an opportunity to make a motion.
We need to keep it straight.
So I would like to make the motion that the,
I have a question before.
Go ahead, Ms. Simpson.
In terms of I have no issue with paying my own $175 for the Black Caucus event. I'm just curious as to what budget you're speaking of, that we're over budget, that we're $1,000 over in.
in our training budget, which
And
covers
what
our,
item?
which covers.
Where's that?
On page 1,
Okay.
okay, on page 1, if you go down to the contract services, it is line 611.
You
Okay.
just passed us that.
Yes, that's in your information.
So this is our second one that we received since 2015. This was
No.
budget report.
If we really wanted to get technical about it, we could request that we move money around to cover the $175.
You know,
But I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna pay my own way, but,
Well, we had talked, Miss Angela and I talked about that, but the travel expenses have not been paid yet for us to attend the MML. And we only have, if I'm correct, Angela, $1,900
Yes,
to
ma'am.
pay all of us to go to MML.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we're talking about,
So
and
that's-
you got one on here too that we wanna do, so I'm gonna say, let's just go ahead and put it, and transfer the money.
no, Mayor, I insist to pay my own way.
I hate it.
Well,
It's just-
It's quite right, but
I understand,
May I say something?
yes, go ahead.
I believe there may be some other classes that I want to attend this year, and when they come up, they haven't come up yet, and I'm already prepared to pay my own way for them because I knew we didn't have the money in the budget. So it's not just the $25 that we paid last week. It will be other monies that if I attend these other classes, I will be paying out of my pocket too.
I'm still stuck on the fact that you and her discussed this.
Why?
Ms. Matt, everybody, you can discuss with the clerk.
I don't need commentary, Mayor.
I'm not gonna commentary, I just want you to settle down and understand that she's got a lot to talk to, just like you talk to her.
You want me to speak?
I need to be able to talk with the city clerk regarding the financials when we have expenses, when I know that we are overextended, just like you do or any other alderman does.
This is probably one of the reasons we need a work night, so.
Exactly.
And
That's
I know
why
that
we
we're
need
fixing to
a
go to the
work night.
budget hearings, so we'll have those coming up and we'll all talk more about that.
And we can add this to our budget for 2015-16. But we had to take a lot of travel out of the current year budget, if y'all will recall, because we could not balance the budget. So I would like to make the recommendation, I would like to make the motion that, since Ms. Hosey has agreed that she will pay her own registration fee, I would like to make the recommendation that if Ms. Mack wants to go, that she do the same thing. And we will look at it at the next budget, at the budget sessions in August.
So which recommendation did I make? You made two. Should we go with the last one first?
Alderman, it's up to you whether or not you accept that recommendation. It's also up to you whether you make a motion to.
But I'm making a point.
I'm making the motion that we allow y'all to make a determination as to whether or not you want to pay your own registration fees.
Okay.
Respectfully, Alderman Marble, there's no need for a motion for that.
Okay.
To allow, to our map to allow us to do anything. You don't have
Okay,
to.
let's
I
move.
understand.
Let's move on.
I need another brief terminology.
I understand. Let's move on to number 7. We don't have to do anything.
Oh, yeah, we do, because we've got to decide what we're gonna pay. Whether the city's gonna pay this registration fee or the Alderman gonna pay it.
You have to approve
Help me get this
the
bill.
request
To get it
to
paid.
get it
If you
paid.
don't do nothing, it doesn't happen.
Obviously have the right to amend the budget
At any time?
at any time.
Yeah.
For
What I said.
most reasons.
But if we do nothing, then are they going to go to the black caucus or are they going to?
Well, I'm
That's up
going
to you.
regardless.
That's
I'm
nothing
going
to do with
regardless.
us.
Okay.
Let's think about it. So, if we don't do anything, that's there.
Yeah.
So,
Something's
Okay,
gonna
that's
have to
fine.
be done on the
But we're-
$1,000.
I think I saw where, Ms. Mack, I think you have yours in here too. I have no problem if we want to, change the budget. That's what I'll, I mean, that's not enough money.
We need a work session to do this.
I know it's gonna be too late for this, about the work session.
Excuse me, if you're saying no action's done, so that eliminates.
Let me see, our salary has been done.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir, go ahead, Mr. Cook.
I'd like to make a recommendation.
Okay, do it, sir.
We didn't buy cell phones, we got $5,000 in that budget. Can we move that to training, reimburse?
No, I wouldn't do the whole amount.
Well, I mean, enough to take care of the last training, we can reimburse for the $25 that we paid.
I think that's a great
And take care of
idea.
that.
Y'all hear what he's saying? Y'all hear what he's saying?
No, sorry.
He's gonna, take a
You're
portion.
going to have to amend the budget if we're $1,000 over.
We're not.
We got you.
We're not.
We got you.
I have a question. Since this is roughly about 400, where is the other amount coming from? Is some training courses that's going to take place in the future?
The $1,000?
State that, the 1,000.
No, well, you added the 400 in with 1,000, correct?
No, that $1,000 is based, that $1,000 is that one line item was overspent by $1,000 once the winter MML and the summer MML were paid for, as well as any other training that had been paid for. I believe there might have been a Hattiesburg.
Yeah,
Was
but
there something, Alderman Hosey?
Also, Rick and I did go
Yeah.
to the events, learn how
Right.
to go on the festival.
Exactly.
But Angela, let me just say,
Yes, ma'am.
I requested, I submitted the registration form, for the agenda. I always welcome you. If you saw that we were over $1,000, I always welcome you to say, hey, I'm Hosey, we're over budget and training. And
I didn't bring it to anyone's
Okay,
attention.
okay.
I didn't ask anyone about this information.
Okay.
And I want to be honest, this is, this is.
I only asked because I knew that we were getting low.
Okay, Mr. Cook, what do
Wait,
you?
I have another question for
Yes, ma'am.
Angela there before you go into. I was going to ask you, out of those two conferences, which Alderman did not attend?
Did not attend what?
Those two, the winter.
The winter
Where you
and
have
the
to go, you
summer.
have to go ahead and pay regardless. Out of those two, which you're saying we're over budget because of those two, correct?
On that one line item, well, no, we paid for those two. We did not budget for the
which
winter.
Alderman actually did not attend that we paid for?
Not, that we paid for.
think we were all there.
We were all in Hattiesburg,
Angela?
with the exception of Mr. Cook.
I'm unsure.
The winner was.
I am
The
unsure.
small town
Can you
conference.
let me know, please?
Yes.
Well, they're all sitting here. Who didn't go to Hattiesburg?
I didn't go to Hattiesburg, but they didn't pay for mine either.
I didn't go to Hattiesburg. Okay, that answers that question.
Who's
There were
going to?
two.
Mr. Cook?
No, two, I'm sorry, two.
Okay. Mr. Cook?
Oh, okay.
What you'd like to do is get us out of this place.
Right.
So what I'd like for you to suggest to do is transfer $1,000
Well,
from
do we need to cover that thousand? We move $2,000.
$2,000 over, help us out here.
Yeah, I make a motion to move $2,000 from let me finish the motion. From the cell phone that we fund to the traffic fund.
It's not like we're gonna have a cell phone, I promise you that. Okay, so let's do that, and that's what we're gonna
Okay,
do.
we're gonna transfer $2,000 from the cell phone bill.
And what I also want to do, okay, we're gonna make that in a motion. We're gonna start with that, okay?
No second that.
Okay, Mr. Cook made the motion, Ms. Wanda made
Jim
the second.
seconded. Jim seconded.
Jim seconded, Jim did
I
second.
second the motion.
Okay. Okay, you just, I didn't, you know, I can't see y'all. Okay, we got that done. So I'm gonna call a roll, and this is transferring the money over. Mr. Moser? Ms.
Yes.
Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Yes.
Ms. Mack? Ms.
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Now, this next motion should be for Ms. Hosey and Ms. Mack, but Ms. Mack's got one in here too.
Mayor, I'm still thinking my own way,
No,
but I
ma'am.
appreciate it.
No, ma'am, no, just,
It can be authorized, you can still pay your own.
There you go.
but you don't need
There
to,
you
we do, no problem.
I'll make a
Okay,
motion that
that's the
we-
motion,
that
Ms.
we-
Wanda, we got a second by
Second.
Mr. Cook, and the roll call vote is?
Yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mo. Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Yes.
Ms. Mack? Ms.
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Got that done. Thank you. Now let's go to number 7. It's $674,896.84 claims for April the 15th through May the 5th. Has everybody looked at them? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Cook,
Second.
second by Ms. Wanda. Roll call.
No.
Okay. Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
No.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
And Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, we need to talk about the sewer system.
Yes, sir.
You want to do that right now? Let's do it.
Okay. In your information that I gave you tonight, as everyone knows, we purchased a sewer system a week ago last Friday, on May 1st. During that meeting, or that purchase, I withdrew $550,000 out of the reserves to write a check to them. The full amount is $600,000. There will be $50,000 held for 60 days until we get all the pertinent information from the company that we requested. Now, during that time, we have 90 days in order to issue general obligation bonds. What I'm requesting with this resolution that I presented to you that I'm about to read, it's a little lengthy, but I'll read it. I'm requesting for the board to approve us to move forward with $700,000 in up to $700,000 in general obligation bonds against our 20% debt limit, and I'll explain more about that in the resolution. Currently, the only bonding we have issued is against our 50% debt limit, and we still have a remaining $4,490,000 left to pay on that. Now, with that being said, I believe that is correct. I'm going by memory. That is what's left of the $5 million bond that was issued in 2012. Now, we have in our 20% debt limit, which includes public utilities. The 15% does not include your public utilities that you're allowed to bond against. we have a remaining over 13 million left to issue bonds against the 20%. So what I'm requesting is for the approval of this declaration resolution, and I'm going to read it to you.
Okay, let's just, and we'll ask questions, the answer is smart.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
This resolution is declaring the intention of the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Byram to issue general obligation public improvement bonds of said municipality, which is Byram, Mississippi, in the maximum principal amount of $700,000 to raise money for the purpose of acquiring and establishing water, sanitary, storm, drainage, and sewage facilities and/or systems, and repairing, improving, and extending the same, and for related purposes, and directing publication of the notice of such intention. Whereas the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Byram, Mississippi, the governing body of the municipality, acting for and on behalf of the municipality, hereby finds, determines, adjudicates, and declares as follows. It is necessary and in the public interest to issue general obligation public improvement bonds of the municipality of Byram, Mississippi, in the maximum principal amount of $700,000 to raise money for the purpose of acquiring and establishing water, sanitary, storm, drainage, and sewage facilities and/or systems, and repairing, improving, and extending the same, and for related purposes, the authorized purpose. The assessed value of the taxable property within the municipality, according to the last completed assessment for taxation, is $88,450,488. The municipality has outstanding bonded indebtedness subject to the 15% debt limit prescribed by Section 2133-303 of the Mississippi Code of 1972 in the amount of $8,642,567, and outstanding bonded and floating indebtedness subject to the 20% debt limit prescribed by the Section 2133-303 Mississippi Code of 1972, which amount includes the sum set forth above, subject to the 15% debt limit, in the amount of $13,065,090. The issuance of the bonds hereinafter proposed to be issued when added to the outstanding bonded indebtedness of the municipality will not result in the bonded indebtedness exclusive of indebtedness not subject to the aforesaid 15% debt limit of more than 15% of the assessed value of taxable property within the municipality, and will not result in an indebtedness both bonded and floating exclusive of indebtedness not subject to the aforesaid 20% debt limit in excess of the 20% of the assessed value of the taxable property within the municipality, and will not exceed any constitutional or statutory limitation upon indebtedness which may be incurred by the municipality. The municipality has incurred certain costs and expenses for the authorized purpose within the last 60 days prior to the date hereof, and expects to incur further costs and expenditures for the authorized purpose prior to the issuance of the bonds, and it should declare its official intent to reimburse such expenditures with the proceeds of the bonds upon the issuance thereof. The municipality is authorized by Sections 2133-301 through 2133-329 of the Mississippi Code of 1972 to issue the bonds hereinafter proposed to be issued for the purpose set forth above, for which purpose there are no other available funds on hand. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body as follows. Section 1. The governing body hereby declares its intention to issue the bonds in the maximum principal amount of $700,000 to raise money for the authorized purpose, pursuant to Section 1.150-2 of the Treasury Regulations, the reimbursement regulations, The governing body hereby declares its official intent to reimburse expenditures made for the authorized purpose prior to the issuance of the bonds, with proceeds of the bonds to the extent permitted by the reimbursement regulations. The bonds will be general obligations of the municipality payable as to principal and interest out of and secured by an irrevocable pledge of the avails of a tax to be levied annually upon the taxable property within the geographical limits of the municipality, which tax, together with any other monies available for such purpose, shall be sufficient to provide for the payment of the principal and the interest of the bonds according to the terms thereof. Section 2. The governing body proposes to direct the issuance of the bonds in the amount for the purpose and secured as aforesaid at a meeting of the governing body to be held at its regular meeting place in City Hall of the municipality at 7 o'clock on July 11, 2015, or at some meeting held subsequent thereto. If 10% of the qualified electors of the municipality, or 1,500, whichever is lesser, shall file a written protest with the city clerk against the issuance of such bonds on or before the aforesaid date and hour, then the bonds shall not be issued unless authorized at an election on the question of the issuance of such bonds, to be called and held as provided by law. If no protest be filed, then such bonds may be issued without an election on the question of the issuance, therefore at any time within a period of 2 years after the date above specified. Section 3. This resolution shall be published once a week for at least 3 consecutive weeks in the Clarion Ledger, a newspaper published in the city of Jackson, Mississippi, and having a general circulation in the municipality of Byram. No newspaper being published in Byram and qualified under the provision of the section 13-3-31 Mississippi Code of 1972. The first publication of this resolution shall be made not less than 21 days prior to the date affixed herein for the issuance of the bonds, and that last publication shall be made not more than 7 days prior to such date. In addition, this resolution shall be posted for at least 21 days next preceding the date fixed herein for the issuance of the bonds at 3 public places in the municipality. Section 4. The city clerk is hereby directed to procure from the publisher of the aforesaid newspaper for the customary proof of publication of this resolution and have the same before this governing body on the date and hour specified in Section 2 hereof. In addition, the clerk shall file with the governing body a certificate setting forth the dates on which the locations at which the resolution was posted. I'm asking for a motion.
Ms. Angela,
Yes,
in
ma'am.
section 2,
Yes, ma'am.
the third line, it says June 11, and you read July 11.
Oh, did I? I apologize. June 11th.
It is June 11. Okay.
June 11th. It is June 11th because that is your first board meeting in June.
Okay. I just-
Okay, so anybody else got any questions that we know of?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I need legal to break that down in May turn for it.
I can't hear. I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
I just asked legal to break it down in layman terms, please.
There are essentially 3 types of bonds that a city can issue. One is just a straight general obligation bond where you pledge the tax avails of the city. That's the one that counts under your 15% rule. This is, then is a pure revenue issue, which the only pledge of security are the revenues of the system. That I don't believe we would be able to negotiate. This is a hybrid where you don't have to pay it out of the avails of the taxes, but it should be paid out of the rates collected from the system. So that makes it subject to the 20% limit as opposed to the 15% limit, which is important for the city to keep available some of its credit. You don't want to hit your credit limit and then be cut off if you need money for something else. But that essentially is the type of bond that's being proposed here.
Anybody else?
I don't know if I answered your question. I hope I did. I may have told you a little more than I know.
I think we could have done a lot less than this, than what you said. We're purchasing the Southwell Utilities, which was it's Southside Utilities. And it was, we had an engineer come in and the system, first of all, we've got to have it for our commercial stuff coming in. It's got to be, it's Walmart, car wash, whatever else we have. And we got some things that are fixing to come online. And the approximate amount for to build this unit was, and I'm guessing it was like $1.8 million. Huh? How much did they say that we had estimated that?
Yeah, 1.6.
1.6 somewhere. And we're paying $600,000 for it. And it's really going to make us get it. We're going to be more in business than we already are with Southwell Utilities. But we borrowed the money out of our reserve, out of our rainy day, as I call it, and we got to pay it back. We need to put it back in there. So.
Ms. Mack, one thing I did not explain is there is a limitation of time that you have to repay bills. For example, our bill was substantially more than it's been for some time. That's something that you can repay from the proceeds of the bond and probably should when the money becomes available. But you're also, by going ahead and doing it at this time, going to be able to pay back the general fund the monies that were lent to the sewer fund.
Good question. Okay.
You said there's a limit. What's the limit? What's the time frame?
90-day limit.
I thought that was not good to get.
Pardon me?
I thought that was not good to get.
It can be closed within 90 days and funds available for reimbursement. But you've got to act pretty quickly on it to meet that deadline. It's not the kind of thing that you have the luxury of letting sit. As you see, the June 11th is as soon as you can meet the publication and those requirements for the public hearing. And that just gets the process started.
I didn't understand the 90 days.
Hear you.
But the 90 days is,
No, I didn't understand. You said you thought that wasn't good.
That's with my research.
Well, potentially in 60 days, it's either 90 or shorter. But there are time limits on repayment to the general fund.
And my research just stated that normally is not recommended. That's why I asked that question.
Okay. Jim, what you got?
I'm trying to hear what you said.
I didn't make it.
She had done some research and thought it was less days was a better idea. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
normally not recommended.
Okay. Since we got Jim down here, we do need to talk in our microphone. Anybody else? I need a motion.
Motion.
I got a motion.
Second.
I got a motion by Mr. Cook and a second by Ms. Marble. Okay? And we're going to call roll. Mr. Moser?
Yes.
Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
No.
Ms. Smith?
yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
And Ms. Cook?
Yes.
Okay, got that done. We're gonna, Tom, we're not gonna do that at 9, Okay, y'all want to go ahead and bring the other part? You're gonna, John? number 10, this is the same sewage that we were talking about earlier. I know y'all love this. But this is the sewage rate that we're gonna do on this new commercial area where we should make enough money to easily pay the debt.
There's already an ordinance that exists that sets the sewer rate for the city. And so I just took that document and made minor changes to it. I mean, there are changes to the rates, but what I mean is if you're not looking at some brand new document that was created for the first time this week. This has been on file with the city of Ireland and its ordinance book for a number of years.
Okay.
I do want to call your attention to where the changes are, though. And that's, if you look under Article 3 on the second page, it says Section 2, the following sewer rate schedule shall apply to each user of the sewage works. And then it's got 4 sections: residential flat rate, commercial flat rate, and then reconnection charge and reconnection charge. The only change there is under commercial flat rate. This is pretty much what we did was adopt, or what we're recommending you do is adopt. And I mean, when the numbers came from Con, I just tried to get it in good shape, but what we did was take the PSC approved rate that Forest Woods Utilities already had in place as set by the PSC, since we just purchased part of that system, and just take it and put it in our rates. That's all we did. So it's the same thing, as I understand it, that's already been paid. And then the only other change is you'll notice this commercial flat rate, and I'm gonna be quiet a second with Con talk.
Go ahead.
It says $38 per month per household equivalent. That's a term, that's that the Public Service Commission approved. And then beneath that, it says businesses will be divided into categories as defined in the Appendix B attached. Public Works Department will make the determination of the appropriate category. And so you just flip over to the very back page, and that's Exhibit B. Everything else is the same. I mean, I updated it. Of course, it had Mayor Tremonti and the old board on there, so I mean, I fixed all that stuff as well. But this is
good.
But so category A, 2.5 up to 2.5 household equivalents. So it would be $38 times 2.5 would be the maximum for a category A business. Category B up to 4.0, and so on and so forth. And again, this is almost word for word taken right out of what the I know we don't have to have the Public Service Commission. Of course, we don't have to have their approval, but it's just a rate that the customers are used to paying. It's been approved when the private utility company needed approval for it. And so we're bringing this to y'all now. The one provision that Jerry had mentioned that he wants to add to this, if you approve this tonight, and I'll ask Angela to add it after the meeting, is that where it says the Public Works Department will make the determination of the appropriate category, Jerry was recommending that in just one other provision that says,
I'm sorry, what page you want?
oh, I'm sorry, I'm back to page 2, Alderman Mack, under the user charge rates of Article 3. He suggested, and I agree, that it should just simply also say that that determination could be appealed to the Board of Aldermen. That way, if a new business came in and Con's department said, oh, well, this is a Category 2 business, and they wanted to be a Category 1 business, they could appeal that determination to the settlement and all. And that's all. I mean, I'll have any questions, of course, Con's going to talk about that.
We don't have it on this particular area. We don't have it like 5 or 6 houses.
Yes.
So we're not talking about a bunch of houses.
Yeah, the
This
city,
is all
well,
commercial.
this doesn't affect the houses at all.
That's
This is
right.
only a change to commercial businesses in the city. We only roughly have 5 or 6 prior to the purchase of the system. Now we've purchased around 35 in all commercial businesses. So this is what they're used to paying, and the structure to the way they're used to paying it, and it will ensure that we get
we get
revenue.
paid.
Yeah,
So we
we'll
get paid.
know what we're getting every month.
Okay.
Otherwise, the sewer rate would have gone down a whole heck of a lot for all of them.
Yeah. And we would have gone upside down
Okay.
in our ability to pay for it.
The one thing it will affect is the 5 or 6 that are in the city. I think their rates most likely will go up. And
Can't hear you, Jerry.
pardon me?
Can't hear you.
The 5 or 6 businesses that we're already charging and reading the meter on, I would anticipate an increase in their rates. The others won't change. The few houses that are involved will get a small reduction. But the law requires that we have a single utility rate in the city. Attorney General's opinions requesting as to whether or not you can apply it to the one that the bonds are for, and the AG's office says law requires a single utility rate.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I do. You said,
I make a motion.
Okay, hold on a second. Go ahead.
the area that is affected, is that what was discussed near Walmart?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that, what about down by Kroger? Is that, it's gonna be part of it?
Yeah, that's part of the few businesses that the city currently has under sewer. Those 4 or 5 or 6 total, their rates will increase a little bit. But that's also where we have in there some language that says we can charge up to certain equivalents depending on what their usage would be. And Bart will help me on some of that, as we need to determine usage as far as for a car wash, for instance, or Kroger itself. So that's where we have the discretion to accommodate the rate according to what the usage would be as fair to the commercial rates as possible.
Several of the customers that Byron just acquired, I think, were already designated as Class 1, Class 2,
yeah.
Class 3. And I'm sure Public Works will keep a record of that.
Yeah, and it's part of their billing. That came with the paperwork. Their classification is already listed on their bills. What we got, we'll keep those same classifications for those customers.
What about this reconnection charge? Is this for residential or just commercial?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that has not changed. It's still, I believe that's for anybody. 400 reconnection, 700 new connection. That's the same as it's been since this was first adopted a few years ago. Of course, keeping in mind, that's the reconnection fee, of which there's a 60-40 split of the new sewer lines that we just purchased.
That's the old rate. That's the same thing that's been since the city adopted this ordinance back in 2012, I think.
That's right. I think that's exactly right.
That part's not changing.
Nothing's changing.
That part's not changing.
Just the amendment on the back page is always changing. Everything else remains the same.
I think that it previously read $35 and then up to $1,000 and, 1,000 gallons. And we just replaced it with the appendix of that.
And truthfully, we had a lot of trouble with getting accurate meter readings on our commercial accounts because we don't own the water system, we don't own the water meters, and knowing what water meters went to what businesses is a challenge for the city to get an accurate meter reading to measure their fluid use for their sewer billing for the city. It's been a home for us for a while.
We've got it under control.
We do have it better than the water, not great. This will fix a lot of our issues. It'll be consistent. They'll know what they're gonna pay every month.
We're sending bills out this week.
The 25th, if we get this approved, this has got to be approved for us to move forward.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Okay, I need a motion.
Yes, no motion.
Sir?
A motion's been made.
Okay, hold on a second. Go ahead, Jim.
As we vote on the 25th this month, we're sending bills up to this.
This has got to be amended, and then we have 15
It's
days.
got to be in 30 days from the date before this.
And I did put that in the back. That's just standard with any ordinance unless it's adopted for emergency means. 30 days plus publication. Angela publishes every ordinance we pass in the newspaper, and so 30 days. So.
Okay, I got a motion by Mr. Moser,
Second.
second by Ms. Wanda. Call the roll. Mr. Moser?
Yes.
Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
No.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Okay.
Angela, we're going to need to make that one revision after. They want to do this.
They agreed to do it.
Affidavits, are we gonna do that next?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to talk about first of all, we got to read before we do this.
I want to actually come to my coworkers and see if I can get them to look at actually having our meetings recorded, because in our previous meeting, we had approved that a tape recorder or some kind of recorder take place, and that was motion and approved. So I want to make a motion that we use a recording device such as a video recorder, cameras, is often helpful ways to capture and preserve information about conversations in which we participate in, because we've been having a lot of issues with what's accurate and what's not. And I'm not putting blame on anyone, but this would actually kind of eliminate some of that. And also a good way to document what is taking place in a hearing, in a public meeting, whether it's in a business, or if we're all gonna have to come back and check for reference, or if we want to go later on to broadcast over the internet.
Secondly.
Got a motion and a second. So, we don't have, we got a recorder that the court uses, right? A recording, that camera there belongs to an individual recording, right?
I thought we had.
That's what I'm saying, we don't have that. So we're gonna have to purchase one.
So we've got, so,
What I'd like to, let's do this. We're gonna have to get some ideas of what we need to do. I don't have, I just think we need to.
Instead of doing the record, I know we've already voted on it, but since we're gonna have audio and visual, would maybe best just to do one thing instead of doing both?
I mean, it would be.
I don't have a problem.
There's-
we already have approved, tape recorders,
Have it been
tape
purchased?
recording,
We don't have
We got one for the court, we've already.
which we can use. With the audio visual, we would have to, purchase something of this nature over
one.
here,
Should be a video.
which I'm not sure who that belongs to.
So that's my motion.
Okay.
So are you asking that we purchase this or what?
That's what I'm thinking, we could look at the budget and look at the budget. I don't have a problem with y'all going, or let's give somebody permission to look. Let's do that. I don't have a problem with us voting on it tonight, but we need to give some guidance what we want.
I'm not sure about this, because I don't know a thing about the technical specs.
Chris, I can't hear you.
Hold your microphone up.
I don't know a thing about the
Can hear you now,
technical
go ahead.
specs, but one thing I thought somebody had mentioned was the need to interconnect it to the existing microphone system so that it will be audible as well as visual.
Right.
And I think y'all are gonna need to have at least a little time to figure out exactly what you need. But it's obviously legal, lots of cities do it.
Well, can I make a suggestion that we continue to use the one we got over here in our recorder right now, and let's consider getting prices on who can hook to our speaker system. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. Mayor, I would ask that we count the time frame, and I don't have a problem with what you're suggesting, but what we're looking at about conflict.
I'm thinking that that I could talk to Ms. White, maybe, or somebody, and give us a couple of, we might even ask the chief of the fire department to help us look at something. So can you have us some information next time, chief? Something that will hook, we need a video, and we need to hook to our speakers.
I would say this, Mayor, I'd be glad to, and I don't have a mic, but I think I got a big enough voice.
I think you're loud enough, so.
Right there.
But what I'm gonna say is this, I would be glad to look and provide some information, I'd be glad to email some information. Actually, the next board meeting, I will not be here, our senior command staff will be in Tupelo at the fire chiefs conference.
That's right.
So I would like to start providing you that information as I get it, and then you all can start making determinations, so forth.
So, but I think since they made a motion in a second, I don't have a problem with us voting on saying that we're going to we want to add to that motion, Ms. Hosey and Ms. Mack, that we'll certainly have some information here about what we're going to do. Because I want to make sure what we're using, that we can use that with what we get, right?
And we're going to eventually be able to put it on the internet as well.
I'm not sure about internet.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
saying that when you're looking at actually,
Alderman Mack, I'll look at what technical information, and I've got some, I've actually have some people, one is a videographer and does everything for the State Fire Academy, and that's their background. And I will communicate with them, and I will start getting this information and researching to you. What you all choose to do with it will be what you all as the board chooses to do. And we'll find the technology to allow it.
and Mayor, I'm not saying that we need to do this anytime soon.
I'm
Just
not
saying
sure.
we just need
I hope they wait until later on.
we just need the option to be able to do it at some point.
But I want to add to that, we got the chief, and I'll check with the chief, and we'll see if we can get that information for by next meeting, okay?
Talk loud, please.
Sir?
Talk loud, please.
Okay, I'm gonna have, the chief's gonna help me get this information, and we're gonna work together, and I'll present it to y'all next board meeting.
Okay, but that's part of the motion.
So, y'all heard the motion. Ms. Moser, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marble?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yeah.
And Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's go to the, go to number 12. Let's go and get that. Go ahead, Ms. Ford. You want John to bring it, or come on up, John? And then we'll do that today.
I think everybody's familiar with the situation on Old Byron Road where there was a manufactured home placed there without a permit. And additionally, the previous structure that was there was torn down without a permit, and now all the debris has been left there without a permit. We are moving through the process of enforcing that through the municipal court system, and there's probably going to be some more action taken on that. However, another option the city also has, as I think you're aware, is cleaning private property. We've done this before. It's something that requires certain notice under the statute, but it allows the city to go in and actually, in this case, remove the debris, and then the cost of the cleaning you could assert as a lien against the property, and you can recover the cost of it later through that lien. So what Mr. Ford is asking the board to consider tonight is to set a hearing. You have to have a public hearing, of course, for something like this.
Right.
And this is all under the statute 21-1911. So Mr. Ford's asking the board to set a public hearing to make the determination of whether or not entering onto the private property and cleaning it is justified.
Okay.
The only thing about it that I wanted to kind of point out to the board is that once the public hearing is set, you're required to mail and post notice 2 weeks in advance. So I don't think there's been any notice done yet because the hearing hasn't been set.
Okay.
So we wouldn't be able to do it on the 28th of April, or 28th of May, because we just wouldn't have enough time. But we can do it the first one in June.
Okay, my question is, we've been to court, and is this going to affect the court deal? I mean, can the judge tell her to clean it up?
Well, the judge has told her to clean it up.
Okay, but she's not doing it.
And I'll be happy to update y'all with what's going on there. The ruling of the court, she essentially had 4 different kinds of ordinance violations. For the placement of the manufacturing home without a permit, he charged her a $100 fine per day as a recurring charge until she was going to fix it. That was April 14th. So that alone is already, $3,000.
That's to make more money in the sewage system.
Well, you know, she hadn't paid it yet either, so she probably contempt of court, but that's another thing.
I'd like to be there that day, y'all tell her she has. Go ahead.
Then, starting on May 5th, if she had not corrected, I think, the setbacks by that day, she was going to incur another $100 per day. And then starting on May 12th, if she hadn't cleared the debris, she was going to incur another $100 per day. And then there was a final one that started on May 12th as well. So as we stand right here today, she's incurring $400 in fines a day for not correcting this. I'm going to ask the court, as the city prosecutor, I'm going to ask the court to find her in contempt and to revoke. The matter had been not adjudicated. I mean, this is a criminal procedure type thing. I don't want to bore with it, but she was allowed to get away with not having a guilty conviction of the ordinance violation if all she would do is correct the problem. We weren't trying to put her in jail or have a conviction. We just want the problem corrected. And so we non-adjudicated it. Right now, that's the status of it. Because she is not obeyed by the conditions of the court's order, I'm going to make a motion to the court to revoke the non-adjudication and have her brought in for a contempt hearing to see why she should be held in contempt for not obeying by the court's orders. However, separately, but at the same time, it does not interfere with it. The Board of Aldermen has got the option to pursue this as well. The problem, we're just trying to get the problem fixed.
Would you state the motion we need to state for Mr.
The motion would be to set a hearing before the Board of Aldermen for the cleaning of private property under section 21-1911 for June 11th.
And that is Mr. Ford's motion, right, Mr. Ford? Okay, he's got a second. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Moses.
When she complies with all these ordinances, is she gonna be, legal to be there?
No, sir. No, she would have to get a permit to place the home again.
She doesn't have a sewer permit.
That's exactly where I was going. And she's not only does the state health department require it, but our zoning ordinance also.
I just want to check that.
No, that's true. The lot's not, what is the lot, Terry? 1.8, 1.6, you gotta have a 2-acre lot to have an individual septic tank system or treatment plant. She says she wouldn't have it.
Mr. Moser, how do you vote on that?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marvin?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Sounds like it's unanimous.
Okay, let's go to that, while you're up, John, let's go to that next. We're gonna have to,
Okay,
tell us what we're gonna do.
let me do it. I printed out 5 of these. Y'all are gonna have to.
John, how you doing? I forgot to, I didn't get to cert people, but I did forget. So that's what we need to do right now. It won't take a second. I'm sorry. If the cert people come on up, the ones that are graduating right now,
They have already graduated.
y'all have graduated. Come on up, cert.
Congratulations.
Marshall, will you up for this? Thank Go ahead. Y'all turn around, guys.
I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves because, and we'll start over here on the far end.
David Jordan, Ward 6. Jane Marble, Ward 3.
Wanda Smith, Alderman, Ward 5.
Alan Kelly, Ward 1. These individuals are part of our CERT team, and we have just recently completed training about 15 more people. Specifically, the training that these individuals just went through is the Mississippi Certified Fireground Resource Technician course. That course is information provided by the State Fire Academy. It is taught by a certified instructor. I happen to be a certified instructor in the state of Mississippi through the Fire Academy. They went through actual classroom training, also practical skills training, and then they took a written test and a skills test, and both in the use of knots, apparatus placement, general fireground safety. What this group does is they're going to allow us in the event of a large fire type incident to be able to use our full-time and our more advanced trained reserve staff. They'll be able to perform tasks such as we're fixing to do some more advanced first aid, some more advanced SCBA, the new compressor we just received. They're going to be trained on that. And this is just an example of the additional training that these individuals have. So,
The only thing I'd like to add to that is, this situation with this train wreck up north, this very week, we see that people, volunteers, you see the reserves and everyone just did a great job up there. And we just don't know what to expect, but we do know that we need to be prepared. And we need to be, and their main object is to certainly help their family, take care of their home, take care of their neighborhood, and then move out from there. I think that's y'all's code, isn't that your code?
one of the things is just today they found an 8th victim fatal
Yes.
victim. So this has been a long, drawn-out thing. In the event that we have a catastrophic event such as this, they're going to know what emergency services can do, what the limitations are. One of the things they're going to be able to help us do is go into what we call the hot zone where an event's taking place and help us do documentation. One of the things that we've noticed in reviewing what's taking place in Philadelphia is that a lot of people initially start to self-evacuate, and police, fire were over and come with the amount of the event, and not being able to corral these individuals. It's very easy to lose somebody. You're not sure whether they're deceased or not. So these are the things that these individuals are going to help us do while we're performing highly technical aspects. They're going to be able to come back and provide certain levels. I do want to say one thing that, you know, if you look at the people that are participating, it is a great aspect about when you reach that, what I tell people, the golden years, because I'm right there at it, you have the opportunity to give back to your community. And these are volunteer hours. These are not, they're going to training on their own. When they serve, they're serving on their own time. They're getting, you know, a shirt, an ID, a little bit of hardware. The bottom line is this. This is an asset to the community that the community is not having to heavily invest in. And I think we owe them appreciation.
I will tell you that a lot of times, a lot of us right down the road, we don't think about what's under the road, and sometimes we don't think what's going down the road beside. We got a train track over here that caused us some hazard. We got a 55 over here that's going to cause us some problems. These people are they're volunteers, and I think it's a great program. Carl Mangum is just, I've known him for a long time. He's always loved this community, and he has provided leadership in this, and he's took this program and made a great deal out of it. That's good.
I just want to say congratulations, welcome to the team.
That's good. Thank you.
Now we just do some more volunteers.
And I know that Paul's been attending some of the ward meetings, but you're out there talking to people in the ward, and they're asking, what can I do? Get them involved in CERT. They're, you know, it's an asset to the city, but if we can build the teams we're looking for, about 15, 20 per ward, they're going to be, you know, very instrumental. That group of people knows their neighborhoods. They know in a situation who's at home. If a tornado goes through there, we don't have to worry about that house. Those people are never at home. So that house is safe. It's very important that we get the participation of the community.
Thank you,
Can I
Chief.
say something?
Yes, ma'am.
In Lake Ridgely, we now have 5 certified teachers. There were, my grandson and I went to a class together, and the last class, there were 3 more from Lake Ridgely that attended. So I think we may have Lake Ridgely in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Now, if I get the rest of the ward in that good shape.
Well, we need everybody to participate. Okay? Come on up, John. You might just give everybody an update on what's going on.
I would like to challenge the other aldermen, because my ward has several certain team members in it also. So I would like to challenge the other aldermen that do not have certain team members, please help us get those people on board, because they will be very valuable to us in situations as it does out here, or up the Rio, or Katrina, or something like that. Thank you.
Okay. John, go ahead.
Okay, it came to our attention this week that the parcel of land that Murphy Oil is going to occupy on the corner of Sawwell Road and Terry Road on the Byron Town Center development just down the road from here. It was explained to me by the developer, Gandil Weidman, by his attorney, David Ash, that Murphy Oil is planning on subdividing the lot, selling half of it, and building their gas station just on half the lot. I have a site plan for anybody who wants to look at it. This is as large as I can print out. I did give one to the Board of Aldermen as well. The way this process moved forward, when they first approached Mr. Griffin as the building official, he denied the site plan based on the zoning before they even submitted it. And he wrote a letter that said, you know, that there's 5 prerequisite criteria that you have to have before your site plan can be reviewed, and one of them is that it works with the zoning. And because it didn't work with the underlying zoning, or at least in his opinion, which I agree with, they denied it. At that point, there had been no site plan produced. They wrote the city back and said, well, we want to move forward with the site plan process anyway. Well, the zoning ordinance requires that when you move forward with the site plan process, that you should get 6 hard copies of your site plan. They never submitted that to the city. So when the matter came before the Zoning and Planning Commission, it went forward in a similar manner. The site plan was denied based on the prerequisite that the underlying zoning did not support it. They didn't get into the brass tacks of the site plan itself because they couldn't even get out of the starting gate, so to speak. And then the commission recommended that it be denied on those grounds. When the Board of Aldermen heard it a few weeks ago on April 9th, there were 2 separate votes. The first one was to allow a fueling station on that corner as a permitted use under the zoning ordinance. And that vote came, well, it was 3-3, and the mayor cast his tiebreaking vote, and it was 4-3. That vote, you know, I mean, I'm not suggesting that anything need to be done, and y'all wants to make the motion, but that vote went forward. Immediately after that, Murphy Oil's attorney asked whether or not that vote would have covered the approval of the site plan. It was the advice of Jerry that it would not, and I totally agree with that. I think Mr. Peeten agrees with it as well, is that it would require a separate vote. So a separate vote came forward, and I think the intent of the vote, or at least our understanding of the vote, was that at that point we were going to move forward with the site plan review process, not necessarily to approve it. The minutes do reflect, however, that the site plan was approved that night, when in reality, I don't think any of you, and before I put it in front of you a few minutes ago, I don't believe any of you have seen it. I know Mr. Griffin's office got it today for the first time in proper form.
Show them what that looks like.
And I put 5 or 6 copies in front of it.
Proper form? We just got this in today.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
This is it.
That's proper.
This is proper form. Okay, we do have some.
Contract documents, construction documents.
Now,
Okay. Danny, go ahead, you got a question.
When I voted for this, I was under the impression, and I don't know whether I was listening or wasn't paying attention or what. I was under the impression that this was the entire lot to vote.
and I think that's probably.
What I'm looking at here represents half of what I voted on. So what I'm saying is that I think we need to vote on this again. I think we need to approve this drawing. We did not have this drawing when we voted on this before. And I would not have voted for it if I had this drawing.
Now, okay, and excuse me. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is that I don't think this thing's been handled right from the get-go, and I'm against it. I'm against it now. I voted for it before, but I would guess no against it if I had the opportunity.
But that's what we're going to do now, bring it back up.
I have some questions, and I do want the city to be legally okay with whatever we're trying to rectify here. But it appears from this side right now, the information from me, it's something that is slipped through our hands.
Well, the submission was never made by Murphy Oil to the city to give the site plans.
I comprehend that, but because we didn't follow up on it, we're going back. Is this a legal replication that we can be liable for?
Well, I'm going to let that part out because we did follow up on it. Mr. Griffin?
We made 2 requests from April the 9th when that was voted on. 2 formal requests were made by Terry Griffin to Murphy Oil to submit the final site plan, the plans that we just received now, with no communication.
Well, actually, I was talking about before it came to us, the board.
the board should have only been voting on whether to allow that use, and then it would have moved forward for site plans. Never should have been mentioned as a site plan.
But you were here and everyone else was here and that wasn't brought to our attention.
It wasn't, no, I didn't know that we were actually voting on that. That second vote came like right after the first.
It was
Yes, and I was under the impression when I heard Mr. Mills make that statement that you were voting to go forward with the review process, but that's not what
I
was
think we
said.
all agree to that. We know that we're gonna have to look and see. We know, you know, we have to
There's
see.
another problem that Bart and I just been looking at.
You're gonna have to put your microphone there.
I'm thinking about the legal
This is
problems
it.
we might have.
I'm sorry.
Is there any legal issues that we can have behind this? Or is that something that
Well,
comes to
there's,
Mr. Mills?
there is a remedy that, sorry, it would not be a revote. There's provision in our subdivision regulation that if they divide the lot, that then they're gonna have to go through the plat and site plan review process all over. Nobody said one thing about a proposal to subdivide the lot into 2 lots. And to me, the only portion of a site plan that I had ever seen was that nice pretty picture that they held up. And from what I understand, the proposed actual building does not conform to the building they showed you. So I think they've got some problems, but there's a procedural way that I believe you still have control and still have the right to insist on a site plan.
Yes, ma'am, let's go ahead.
Likewise, as the board, do we even have the power to circumvent our own procedural processes? We put in place that the first procedure is to go through zoning, and this site plan never even went through zoning. So regardless of whether or not we voted, how we voted as it relates to the site plan, was our own vote legal?
Yeah, I think it is. The Planning Commission is an advisory board. They had considered it. While I think you typically follow their recommendations, you're not bound to because you are the policy makers.
Okay, so if everything, I got a problem with affidavits in front of me.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, if we have the affidavit and everything was followed by protocol, then why do we have this in front of us?
Well, let me fix it.
I didn't understand the question.
I was getting at that, and it's a good question. She was
I
asking
didn't understand the question.
why the affidavits are presented. What I've given you are affidavits for Mr. Ballard's signature as the city engineer, Mr. Griffin's signature as the building code compliance officer, and of course Mr. Livingston's signature as public works director over in that department, all of whom sit on the site plan review committee, and all of whom can tell you today that they were never presented a set of plans. Bart Ballard's our engineer, he never laid eyes on it before today or yesterday when I emailed him a photograph that had been sent to me. The site plan review committee had never had a drawing formally submitted, as I understand it, to begin the process. So the affidavit, what I was trying to do was get testimony before you to make your decision, if there's a decision to be made tonight. I chose the method of affidavit rather than pay a court reporter to come in here and type it down. Mr. Pete, of course, brought a court reporter. If this is the kind of vote that would be appealed, it's the kind of thing that you can't make a decision on arbitrarily and capriciously, and you've got to do it with information in front of you. So I made this decision to,
And we talked about this yesterday.
after speaking to the three of them, to put down their testimony in sworn affidavit to provide to you. I mean, the other way, we could have Angela type it in, or we could have had a court reporter. The form of it was just simply a legal decision I made to provide that to you. But as you can, and we can read them to you, or however you want to do it, but the substance of it is what we've explained already. The plans were never submitted according to the zoning ordinance, and they had never convened on meeting without approving this, and they were never seen until today or yesterday, this week.
So my question is,
think we were gonna recommit it, how we need to do it.
Well, and I want to say one other
Go
thing.
ahead.
I did reach out to Mr. Peden, who's Murphy Will's attorney. Jerry and I looked at this, and we believed that it could potentially be reversible error to revisit it without giving them some kind of a notice. Since the matter appeared on my radar yesterday morning for the first time, I wasn't able to give him a lot of notice. But I did speak to him on the phone today, which he appreciated, and he says that the I shouldn't call it rendering, that the site plan, his position was that the site plan was presented to the Board of Aldermen on April 9th, which I don't remember.
No.
But he says that it was one of the large boards, I remember that. He also says that it was attached as Exhibit B to his notice of appeal, which may be, I don't have that in front of me, but I told him that even if that's true, and I believe him, he's an honest man, it still does not get past the requirement to provide 6 copies according to the zoning ordinance. He said that unfortunately he had previous engagements that prevented him from being here tonight. May not sway you one way or the other, but I just told him that I would. He was hoping that it would get voted on next meeting rather than tonight, because he wanted to come address it. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I just want to put in that we've given him notice and he has made that request.
Go ahead, Ms. Oates, I'm sorry.
So are we within the time frame to bring forth a motion to reconsider?
Good question. Yes, if the motion is brought by someone who was in the majority, is that right? Okay, who's in the majority of the vote. There's another problem with the vote. This is a small thing, but the vote is, if the minutes are incorrect, because it says that the vote was 5-2, which is not possible because Mr. Moser was not here and didn't vote. So it's mathematically wrong. It would have to be 4-2, or it would have to be 5-1. So that's another problem. That's another reason that you might want to revisit it. For the 4-9 minutes, they say that the vote came down 5-2. It's just a.
Is this the one from?
No, you're thinking of the first vote. I hear some chatter in the back too. The first vote was 4-3. The second vote was recorded as 5-2.
So we got 2 issues with this.
The second vote was 5-2.
Second vote was 5-2.
It was 5-2.
It's okay.
And Mr. Moser voted.
Mr. Moser wasn't here, so it could not be 5-2.
It can't be 5-2.
There wasn't a time for you two votes unless it was votes.
Yeah.
It's possible to be a 5 or 4-2.
It's not, if I remember correctly,
It was 4-2.
it should have been 4-2. So the minutes have that error in them.
So what's the worst scenario that we're looking at legally?
I don't think.
Maybe recess for a few minutes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Let's just, I thought, let's just do that. Do you want to, Mr. Posey, y'all would go in closed session, so?
I think we're going to talk about the worst scenario, we certainly should.
Well, we don't know what the worst scenario is here. These people,
Can I make the motion to go in closed session?
well, I don't know if this will meet closed session. Will it? Yes, let's take a break. Yeah. No. Yeah, well, I can do that. Let's just take about 5 or 6 minutes and come back, okay? Let's do this.
I said it to 20 different people.
Because it's almost like, I told you that.
Was this not one
I was trying to find out
Does that make sense?
does, I wasn't sure.
I'm not gonna do that. One pump on board. I thought it was just well, I agree. I just don't want all this stuff to build. Literally,
Earl keeps mentioning something about temporary this and temporary that. You know, what he said was,
And I don't disagree with that.
Walmart car wash is gonna play on the strip.
when I disagree, they don't put strip malls on their own Walmart. Probably end up back to the same. That's true.
Yeah. Do we have a number how much a car wash is supposed to put in?
If I've heard it, I don't.
No, that's me. I think you got to mention, but I don't.
It ought to be in some of the shows.
I mean, it shows it's a bush.
It's not near what you would think. That's right. And they're low. They're low. Yeah, it's big. It's like 55 yards here.
This would not be, and he charged the attorney.
Walmart.
I already had to fix it. What working on that? And they knew that.
I will pull my file back out. We're talking about. Did I take you up or just totally?
I'm in a position where I have people out here. That was a cheap shot. Nobody even told me about it. And I've got people out here hollering for me to be gone, and I got this person for me to be gone. And that's, nobody has an idea of what my job is.
No, but I don't have to, because you, but that's what happens.
Yeah, it's right. Well, no, what happened, where the confusion came in, one before was 4-3, the names are correct, but it should have been 4-2 and 5-2. Because the mayor voted up here and he didn't vote up here. We had 7 vote up here because of the mayor. Yes. So what happened was when the numbers were brought down, the names were correct. When the number was brought down, yeah, that was a cheap shot. That's a cheap shot. Considering, well, yes, I got yackers back here. And I got yackers.
I didn't mean that.
No, but that one.
What I'm saying is that he says.
And that one.
Because maybe.
Yeah, and it's just not written down.
It's not enough. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm talking about hours. And I'm talking about hours. You know, she read them. I wasn't here.
You may enjoy it. All right, look at
Pretty close. I don't think there's anything else coming in. I mean, that's what I've got affidavit. Well, what I've got affidavit on, and I've still got 4 I need to get, and I got about 6. I got about 6 or 7 I haven't got. Next week,
One. Y'all, let's get back. Okay. Y'all ready? Come on, Mr. Cook.
It's still so.
Oh,
I think that would trump the numbers, yeah.
Okay, John, what y'all suggest?
Well, I'm going to hand it back to Jerry. We're sharing microphones here.
Okay.
Because he says there's another option besides a motion for reconsideration.
And I can make that. I'll make the motion, whatever you want to do.
Well,
I voted for it. I'm the one who voted for it, so I can do that. Go ahead.
my thought is that we need to take the option that gives us the least potential exposure to liability.
Okay.
And to my recollection, nobody ever told you one thing about subdividing the lots. Gonna have Bart read you what the subdivision regulations say a subdivision is and what our regulation is. I think that a motion under that will be sufficient to stop the potential subdivided lot.
Okay. Read this, Bart.
Yes, sir. Under the development regulations, under section 202.03, it reads, all land subdivision of 2 or more lots or parcels, any one of which has an area less than 2 acres, either by plat or meets and bounds description, for the purpose of transfer of ownership or building development, or regardless of size, when the dedication or vacation of any street, road, or alley is involved, shall require a plat to be filed with and approved by the mayor and board of aldermen.
And they clearly have not asked for that relief. Now, do they show a road being placed in here?
Two roads.
Okay, are they proposing them as public?
No. I don't see dedication language on it, so I don't. It's not a plat, so.
Well,
You see a road? It's not a road, it's a driveway.
No, I don't see dedication language. What I'm looking for is dedication language.
Oh, I thought you said something.
I do see a road. There's 2 roads in here. This is solid on Terry, so you're going to come this way. Here. I'm calling it back, you know.
as I say, I do believe that the board was not presented with full information with regard to this, and that you certainly would be within your rights potentially to reconsider, but there are legal potential legal ramifications that I believe you can avoid and still require them to build more of what they told you they were going to. Build that pretty picture that shows you.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Have we actually looked at all the information presented to us and know that they didn't? Recordings, documents they presented to us,
That they didn't
actually state what they were suggesting they did. Have we done our homework?
I've got them all on my desk.
I have looked at a considerable amount of things this week, and I also spoke to the attorney for Murphy Oil a few hours ago, and even he said, they never told me anything about subdividing a lot. That's different from what we presented. I didn't know anything about selling half a lot. That came from their own
Good.
Well,
Mayor, did they tell
But
you?
we have documents to show that, you know, that this was not presented to
When they
us.
presented something, they presented a green space to
So we do have documents that show that this was not presented to us.
The plans that we received today still only show.
Not
a green.
today, when they actually presented.
The problem is
Yeah.
it's an absence of documents. I mean, that's a good question, but they're not, we don't have a document that shows what they didn't present us. We just have a hold for where they didn't present something to us.
Well, that would be verification then. if it
well, the
was-
board can make that finding of fact that they never advised the board that they proposed subdivision of that lot.
I'm just suggesting we don't rush something without actually checking every steps to make sure we haven't overlooked anything again.
And, well, and also what I can say is the email that was resubmitted today from February, which was the email that the Public Works Department group denied the site plan review on, that's what's before you right now with the green space list.
That's true.
That is what they had submitted.
What they submitted by email on February 4th was this, and the render, I'm calling it an elevation rendering, which Jerry's talking about the pretty picture. Nowhere on either one of those documents, and you can look at this one right here, I didn't print the rendering out, but does it say anything about subdividing
It is
somehow?
a green space.
It refers to it as a green space.
Yeah, that's true, it does, it calls it a green space.
Well,
Actually, does this one even say they're gonna subdivide it?
No,
That's what we're
that's what
saying.
I'm trying to, maybe I'm not saying it
This one
very
does
well.
not say.
This is the document they gave us, it doesn't say a thing in the world about
And
subdividing.
the
itself.
plans we received.
If you look at their drainage calculations, their impervious surface versus pervious surface, they include the whole lot in their calculations. That's the little table down at the bottom that tells you before and after. It adds up to the 1.66 acres.
And the plans that we received today from Murphy Oil, the actual construction documents, they also show the same thing, green space with no plan or designation of subdivision.
What's the source of our information that they proposed to subdivide?
The source, I have that information from Yandel Weidman's attorney, David Ash. As I understand it, they submitted, Yandel Weidman maintains architectural control of his property as well, above and beyond our architectural control. It's really 2 layers of architectural control. And so when it presented him this week, I think Tuesday, I think.
Is that the day you called me?
Yeah, I think it was
Tuesday morning?
Yes, I think that's the day.
I also called Wayne Gibson.
That's right.
And I talked to him several times on the phone. And he called me because I emailed him, told him to give me a call about a problem. And he complained to me that they were wanting to sell a portion of life to make some of their money back. And I said, that's not what we agreed to.
I mean, that's straight to the horse's mouth.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So I think we should do something, hold them up, and not hold them up, just stop them to where they're at, and we can come back around and go back to this.
I will make a motion that we,
Go by this we use that as a,
That we require additional plans that would be sufficient to meet the requirements.
section
of our-
202-3?
That's it, that's the one.
Okay.
But that we require additional
Is that your
information and that the building permit be withheld until this board gives final approval.
And we'll let him, I will email Wayne tomorrow and let him know. And he certainly can meet us anytime, okay?
Do we have anything in place to, if they submit everything within the ordinance, do we have anything in place, preventing them from selling the land?
I don't think so.
I think that's
what
what it is.
This new section, in fact, if we make them meet this section too.
So you can't subdivide, so.
They cannot sell off half of that lot without coming to y'all for approval.
Because that's what this says.
Okay, so,
According to the square footage on here, they're not gonna sell it.
It's not even half
but,
of it.
but.
Yeah.
Well, but it's less than 2 acres is which,
It's barely, yes, it's less
It's
than
1.6 acres long.
but that's the lot in entirety.
Yes.
But
Any
any
lot.
portion thereof would be less than 2 acres.
My next question is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
they have to come to us for approval, but, is there anything in place that, that section doesn't say that, okay, well, let me process what I'm trying to.
I understand.
Okay, they have to come to us for approval, but is there anything in place that does not, that is, what am I trying to say?
Are you required to approve it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It's, in my opinion, not a ministerial act. It's not the kind of thing that they're entitled to because you have substantial power over the subdivision of lots.
Mark, there's almost 72,000 square feet on this lot, period.
Well,
Right, which makes it meet this.
Huh?
This says less than 2 acres.
That's right. So nobody can build anything on it, right?
No, they can, but they've got to come to y'all to get it sold out.
Ms. Mackey.
A variance.
Oh,
Well, an approval of a subdivision plan.
But is this a subdivision? I'm sorry.
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
That's
If you're splitting a lot into 2 lots, it's subdivided.
Okay.
By the ordinance.
Let's be careful. Ms. Maxwell, please.
Mayor, I know you spoke on that, you know, spoke to me, I just want to throw out, hypothetically, if they say, they come back to the board and say, hey, we're not gonna do that, we're gonna relinquish split what we came to do on that lot, then we're okay, right?
That's what I think the best
I think that's what they'll do. I'm hoping that's what they'll do.
That's what I'm hoping. I was hoping it was there. I told them, that's what they don't. We agree with that. That is the result that I think the city needs.
That's what we want. That's what I'm going to tell them.
And then we don't have to approve them to subdivide it later.
I don't think so on that small lot. Let me ask, John, did you not say that the building they're proposing on this site plan has fewer gas pumps?
I was mistaken about that. I did think that was true, but I think I was mistaken when I reviewed their
We
language.
got a lot of lines set.
Take it to your mic.
Set
Say that again, Mr.
back.
Moses.
Lot line setback.
I think there are setbacks. Is there, on C2, is there setbacks under there?
Deal with lot line.
Let's take that and go take it.
Okay. So, Ms. Angela, you got that motion made now?
No, I was going to ask Ms. Woody.
No, I'm going to let John help her do it because he's.
Oh, you remember that?
Can I read what I wrote?
Okay.
May I read
Yeah,
what I
I'd
wrote?
like Jerry to.
Okay. Motion to require development ordinance, section 202.03 be met prior to the Board of Aldermen approving the site plan and the building permit being issued.
So moved. I think
Is
that,
that
Correct.
I think Ms. Mackey got one more question.
I just want to clarify, you stated before we went to recess that there might be a problem with the minutes, that you all actually,
Well, when I say problem with the minutes, the votes were recorded correctly in the sense that it says Alderman so-and-so voted this way, Alderman so-and-so voted this way. That part's right. It's just that the number says 5-2, and it should have been 4-2. So I just meant that was an additional reason why reconsideration of it may be appropriate. But I think that if someone were to look at the minutes later, the names would trump the 5-2. I mean, it doesn't have Mr. Moser down here as having voted because he didn't vote. It's got the other 6 aldermen voting, it does not have Mayor White voting. It's got 4 aldermen for, and 2 aldermen against, so it's essentially a typo, that's right.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Posey makes that as a motion.
I'll second that.
Ms. Wanda seconds it. I'm gonna call her up. Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Ms. Posey?
Yes.
Ms. Marvin?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
I don't know what the motion is.
She's gonna read to you one more time. Go ahead.
Motion to require the Development Ordinance Section 202.03 be met prior to the Board of Aldermen approving the site plan and the building permit being issued.
Okay, Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Okay. I think that was unanimous, so, I think that's got us right now. Okay?
Since we've already voted on those minutes, do we need to do something like this?
No. They got the names on there, and that's all that counts.
I mean, you know, it does,
I mean, but it's a legal document.
You
It's
can,
been when the 30 days you can go back.
you can put a notation in this meeting or any future that they should be corrected to reflect.
Do I need a vote on that?
We can do that. The motion, okay, guys, the motion is for us to correct the minutes on, is that April the 20th?
April 9th.
And it's gonna change, it's not gonna change the name, it's just gonna change the totals, is what I understand. And that's the motion, and Ms. Marl makes that motion, and Mr. Mack seconds it, right? Right?
Go ahead.
Does anybody make a motion?
oh, Ms. Mack,
Did you want to make that motion?
To correct the minutes.
Okay, she makes the motion, and
I'll second it.
Mr. Marvel, Ms. Wanda seconds, okay? Okay. Mr. Moser, how you vote on that?
Yes.
Ms. Hosey?
Yes.
Ms. Marvel?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
And Mr.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think we got everything except just making announcements, right? Is that it? Is that right, Ms. Clerk?
Sorry, I was writing down.
Okay, recycling Saturday, May the 16th, 8 to 12. Byron Business Association meets May the 19th at 12 at Lonnie's Ward 2 meeting with Ms. Hosey. Ms. Hosey will make an announcement on that. It's May the 21st. Anything to make an announcement?
Nothing to do.
Okay. Regular meeting of the mayor and Board of Aldermen on May the 28th at Saturday. Certainly recycling again on Saturday, May the 30th at 8 o'clock to 12. And then let's don't forget, for the ones, we're going to need some help and some volunteers probably on August 29th for our Swimming Bridge Festival and 5K. Anybody else? Rosie, anything that's tomorrow? Instructions, Max?
I don't have the calendar, but I need to put my board meeting first Thursday of June. The first Thursday of June.
Okay.
No, I mean the fourth.
Ms. Cook? Anybody down here? Okay. I think that's it. Motion and second to get out.
Motion.
Mr. Cook made the motion, and I heard Ms. Hurd second.
If we did it.
Raise your hand. Y'all raise your hands if you are. Okay? Let's go. Thank you.